And they're like, Dad, not to drive so fast? We're recording. Hi, my name is Bruce Reyes-Chow, and I live in San Francisco, California, and this week I'm your preacher. I've been coming to Montreat since 1989, I think was my first Montreat, and I've been coming here off and on ever since then. One of my favorite things at Montreat is actually just walking around here. I come from San Francisco, which is a pretty hilly area, but it's not as nature-y, and I'm not a big nature guy, but here you kind of get the best of both worlds. Teleportation. This is where it's just always awkward when you have teenagers and parents try to use slangs. Actually, I just learned about being extra, which is one of my favorite terms now because I just call my kids whenever they get a little dramatic. I'm like, oh, you're being so extra. To really be open to the possibilities. And that seems really broad, but in some ways, I remember being so programmed and tracked to what I thought I wanted to do that trying to figure out where are those moments where I may have needed to have listened a little more for possible other things. I believe teenagers today need to be given permission to acknowledge that the world is a really crappy place right now. And that doesn't mean that we stay in it or that we somehow hide from it, but that we must actively engage in moving through the struggle into something better and not avoid it or not to try to explain things away, but to do the work and be in it enough to get to the other side. I'm a big fantasy baseball player, and so every morning one of my disciplines is to actually look at my teams, and it almost just takes you completely out of the rest of the world, and for 5 or 10 minutes get to actually just be in my little cave of fantasy baseball. So that's one thing I do. I take the time to read through my friends' threads on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter just to see what people are doing. Sometimes I do that to find information, but most of the time it's just to check in with folks and see how folks are doing, what's going on in their lives. When I deliver sermons, it's one thing. I don't have a manuscript. I don't read from anything, and I like to feel like we're having a conversation or I'm just talking. But as I prepare, I write an outline. What I like to do is a month, 2 months ahead of time is get a theme, so then those things are kind of sitting in my head as I go. And then, a week or so before a sermon, you begin to kind of write those things down and figure out the main points and what you want to say, but it's been percolating for much longer than that. Yeah, I loved playing with the idea and challenging the notion of what peace is. Peace can be stillness, but peace is often perceived as a lack of struggle or a lack of tension, or that everybody just gets along, and I think pushing on that was really exciting to me. I hope that we've acknowledged the difficulties of life, but we didn't say that that's where we dwell. That we may be there for different parts of time, but in the end, we are a resurrection people, which means that we always choose to have hope that out of despair, there is new life.